Hey guys, I'm Stephanie and this is Steph Stove, and today we're going to be putting up okra, fresh okra. I did get about a half a bucket full from my daughter's boyfriend. He came over yesterday and brought us some fresh okra. He actually came in the door and said, "I've come bringing gifts." And so a coworker of his had an abundance of okra and brought us some, which is terrific because we'll use it throughout the fall and winter in soup and okra and tomatoes and many other wonderful things. So today I'm going to show you how to take an abundance of okra and put it up in the freezer. So let's get started. All right, one of the first things we need to do in our okra making process with all of this okra is wash it thoroughly. Because again, this came straight from the field, so we want to be sure that when we put it up that we don't have any excess dirt or debris or anything like that in our okra pods. So we are going to wash this thoroughly, and then when we finish, we're going to wash it a second and a third time. So I'm going to get started washing, and we'll be right back. All right, I washed them for the third time, so now I'm going to place them on a separate pan, and I've lined this with a clean dish towel, and I'm going to take these out carefully because we do want to be sure that all of them are dried very well. These some pretty okra pods, and okra is so good, you know, in the fall and the winter. There's so many different things you can put it in. You can eat it by itself. You can cook it like that. It is just good. We love okra and tomatoes. We love, put this in the dishwasher quickly. We love adding it to vegetable soup, to peas. Okra is just one of those great things. All right, now I've got another clean dish towel, and I'm going to come in and I'm going to pat these dry. And go through and make sure that they're thoroughly dried. Actually, I'm going to get another dish towel. Leave this to the side. And I'm going to start laying some of them out on this dish towel. Because again, we do want them as dry as possible. We don't want any excess moisture. So I'm just kind of patting it down now. And then I'm going to lay them out so I can get kind of a single layer. And then I will go and pat them again to ensure any extra moisture is out of them, because we don't want them wet when we put them up. Now, as I've told you in the past, my grandparents had a farm, and my grandparents grew so much, and it seems like when things start coming in, you just get a huge crop sometimes. And okra is one of those things that when you grow it, there's just an abundance of okra. And so after you've got all that you can have, usually you start giving it away, because you definitely don't want the fruits of your labor to go to waste, and you want them to be enjoyed by someone. And that's what that's how we receive this. And so we love okra, fried okra. All right, so I'm just going to let this sit for just a couple of minutes just to air dry as well, just in case that I missed any moisture. They look good and dry, but I'm going to give them just a couple of minutes to sit here, and then we'll get ready with our next step. All right, for our next step, we're going to go and start cutting these up. And as I get ready to cut them up, I went ahead and I have my clean pan in here, and I've lined it with a couple of paper towels so it won't the okra won't be wet. And generally when I'm cutting things up that I'm going to be throwing away several items, I always get kind of a trash bag here. Use Walmart sack or Publix or wherever you shop. And I just put it to the side to put my trash, and it allows for a quick cleanup. And what we're going to do, we're going to cut off the tops and the bottom. And then we are going to dice these into about half-inch little pieces, about like this, or pieces that you would generally be comfortable with eating. So as I go through, I'm going to cut all of these up, and then we'll be back with our next step. All right, now I've finished and cut up all of my okra. And again, you always want to be sure there's a paper towel or something, because when you cut okra, it starts to release this little slimy consistency that's in it, which It's just a property of okra. And I don't want that sticking to the other pods of okra. And again, I cut these up just about what will be bite size. And most of the small pods, you'll be able to get three cuts out of them. And if it's a larger piece, 4. Now, I've got a large cookie sheet here that I'm going to line with parchment paper. And I'm going to spread the okra out as evenly as possible onto the parchment paper. Paper towels. Cut. And you can see that they're sticking. It's that little slimy texture. Some of that little slimy texture that I refer to, that's what a lot of people don't like about okra, but that's also what makes okra good. And so I'm going to try to get this as close to a single layer as I can. Make sure none are kind of on top of each other. They are kind of all even. If you want some face up, face down, it really doesn't matter. I just want them single layered here. And this is going to be about enough to perfectly fill up this cookie sheet. All right, and now I'm going to take these and I'm going to put these inside of my freezer, and I'm going to put these in my deep freezer outside for about 4 hours so that they freeze firm. And then I'm going to take them out and go to the next step. All right, here we'll put it, lay it on our freezer just as so. I'm going to lay it right there in a single layer. I'm not covering it or anything. And then we'll come back in 4 hours and check it out. All right, it's been 4 hours, and I just went outside and got our okra out of the freezer. Reach over and get this, and you can see it's nicely individually frozen here. So at this point, all I'm going to do is get me some freezer safe bags, and I'm going to put it in my bags. In there. And I'm just going to get a couple of handfuls. I'm actually not measuring this, I'm just kind of eyeballing it. I'll try to get 3 packages, similar size. Estimate. This is the quickest, well, minus the wait. The 4 hours does take a little while, so I didn't mean that not that time. But as far as the least prep involved with putting up okra, it's not really necessary to do a lot to it ahead of time. But this freezing method allows it to freeze individually where they won't stick together, and you can very easily pull out exactly what you need. Now you can just wash your okra if you want whole pods and just freeze them straight in a bag. Just wash them and rinse them really well, and then just put them straight in the bag to be frozen. And so I'll get rid of this parchment. And we will end up, ladies and gentlemen, we'll try to get all of the air out as possible. We will end up with 3 nice little jars. Not jars, excuse me. 3 nice little containers of okra to use throughout the fall. There we have it. I'm going to label these and get these back in the freezer. I will try to flatten them down. When I freeze things, I do like to freeze things flat, so that way that they are easy to stack. So I'm going to kind of move them around. And that'll also help me to be sure there's not extra air in there, because when you're freezing, air is kind of the enemy here. So there we have it. 3 nice containers of fresh okra. I'm Stephanie, and this is Steph Stove. For today, we've taken a great bounty of some fresh okra and we froze it into a nice bag, getting it ready for the freezer. So again, I do hope you try this if you've got some extra okra, or if you just go and pick some up at the store and to freeze them for future use. It's great to have them as bite-sized, take out what you need, and they're just always there right in your freezer ready to use. So again, we're freezing things and making memories one dish at a time. Enjoy!